Hello everybody, and here we are with the astrological forecast for the month of September. Well, it's as usual for this year. It's a full month, I think if I was just going to put this month into a single word, I would say reflection. I think what we need to be doing the whole time, although there's going to be lots of competing energies all around us, I think what we need to be focused on is very much on being reflective, having careful thoughts, and I'll explain why. Let's get right into it. Let's jump in. There is so much happening astrologically, so I'm going to have to identify the main things differently, and then you'll see that when they're all jumbled together, has quite a lot of activity. So let's just start with Harvey, actually, and now Storm Harvey, and I just want to express my deep sympathy for the US and for all the people affected by it, and just say it's breathtaking in terms of its sheer proportions and size, and I'm so sorry. I have been asked to comment on the fact whether I thought the eclipse was anything to do with it. No, I don't think the eclipse caused the Harvey storm at all. No, I don't. But it could have been a contributing factor. During eclipses, we get so many different things happening in the solar system. Electromagnetic lines are all sort of stretched, and gravitational corridors collide, and there's a whole pile of stuff. And so, yes, it can contribute. But no, I don't think it was the actual cause. These things happen. They're natural phenomena. The Earth is used to dealing with them. Now, it's us that aren't. Now, let's think of the Earth for a moment, actually, because there is something that I do want to talk about here, and that is the arrival of the asteroid, well, dwarf planet Ceres, into our old friend, the Uranus-Pluto square. I think her entrance here is extraordinarily important, and I want to describe what I think she's doing there and what I think we can do to help her. Ceres has a lot to bring to the table. She's bringing new aspects into a cultural phenomenon that's been going on since 2012, and I think she has something to say, and what we will witness will be the collision of the feminine and the masculine as they battle out their own corners. And I think this is what we need to be taking part in and contributing to, if we can, on an individual level. So let's just start at the beginning and say, well, what is the Uranus-Pluto square? Well, in actual fact, it's not the Uranus-Pluto square anymore. I'm just going to put I have so many notes around me because I've such a lot to tell you. It's not the Uranus-Pluto square anymore. It's actually we've got Eris and Uranus on one side in Aries, and we've got Jupiter and Haumea on the other side in Libra, and then we've got Pluto in Capricorn, and then just coming into the play really now is Ceres in Cancer. So we actually don't have a square anymore. We don't even have a T-square anymore, which is what we had before or recently. We now have a grand cross. And the Grand Cross is in the cardinal signs. This makes it extraordinarily effective. We have to listen to this. The cardinal signs instigate, they lead, they initiate. So we have here energies which all want to initiate, lead in their own element. They're all going to be bursting forward, and that's what they have been doing since 2012. And there have become some signatures of how what we were experiencing in the collective just when Uranus and Pluto were together, never mind Jupiter joining in. I mean, some of the main issues that we have noticed in the last few years are the isolated terrorist attacks, usually with lone operators. They may have a knife or a gun. They're not always affiliated to terrorist organizations, and these have become something of a symbol of this cultural phenomena which is described by Uranus-Pluto and now Uranus-Pluto's gang. Social, political and cultural unrest has been a feature of it, and this has been enhanced by social media tools. this is a very important aspect of what I'm explaining to you. The arrival of the social media tools, which push along and very quickly magnify the issues in society. So, I mean, when I was over in the Middle East, well, I was amazed to see how many of the people over there have iPhones. You know, you think, gosh, these people don't have enough money to buy the basic essentials of life, but they have iPhones. Everybody is hooked in to media, and the presence of Uranus in this is demonstrating the connectivity, the activity. Everything's flashed around in seconds, and it speeds it all up. And this incredible speed, this breakneck speed of digital technology can be put down entirely to Uranus's contribution to what's going on. And this is what makes it all so very active and so very bewildering. We also, with this particular setup, we will notice the issue of things from the underworld. The previously dark things in the underworld will come tumbling out. So that's the collective underworld, the collective unconscious, another feature of this Uranus-Pluto thing. The transformation of intellectual is really a key phrase for it. So we can look at that and we can say the transformation of our intellectual understanding of the spiritual, for instance. So this raising of consciousness, which people are talking about, this growing into high vibrations, this setup is accompanying it. It is symbolizing it also. We're reaching higher with our collective thoughts, our collective awareness, our collective intuition, how we're reaching out into cosmic energies. We're making better connections. They may not be by social media, but they might as well be. The two things are running parallel with each other. And we have also had expansion, which is far too fast for the feminine. It has been a very kind of masculine rush forward in terms of growth and reaching forward, a very yang energy. And what hasn't happened is the feminine, earth, and everything the feminine represents has not had time to catch up. It's all been too fast for nature, too fast for natural resources. And so masculine air has been dominant. And what has been happening with that is that masculine fire, you've got two elements in the masculine, the air and the fire. Masculine air has been dominant, but in more recent months it's been fanned by masculine fire as well. We've had Jupiter getting into the act, and that has meant a big increase in I think masculine actions. Loose talk, people attacking each other, aggressiveness, aggression, rage, all of these things have been very much apparent, and I think it's because we're getting this kind of looseness that fire brings along. Things aren't contained anymore, that people just say things without thinking. This is a very masculine action. Feminine thinks, it contemplates, it considers, it holds back a little, it has consideration, it has gentleness, and this is what has been missing really. If you think a bit, you'll think, you know, how that's been working. So we've got Ceres coming in to this setup, and let's think about what she represents. So she represents agriculture. She also represents the grieving process, and she also represents unity, where one thing is an emanation of another. So she represents the maiden and the mother and the crone, one being an emanation of the other. The maiden becomes the mother, becomes the old crone. Each carries inside of it the seed for the next generation, showing that life is unified, showing that life is connected up. But she also represents the energy of separation, the grieving of loss. And so Ceres can bring about or represent such things as the loss and the grieving. For instance, in Storm Harvey, where we get the loss of agriculture, there will be an enormous impact on the agriculture and the farming and etc., nature's abundance around that area for a long while. But we also get human tragedy, terrible human tragedy, harrowing stories of separation of families. And she represents this, but she represents it because she is a feminine symbol. And these things needed to be brought into line with the masculine. We need to be able to take on life with all of its aspects. We need to be able to take on the grieving. If we are to rush headlong into things that might accelerate the grieving and bring it to us, then we need to have the management and the process in place for us to process and for us to take in life cycles to deal with death and rebirth and life, because this is what this earth is all about. This dimension is all about those cycles. We are not immortal here, we are mortal, we will go through them. Okay, so we've got Ceres joining in with, as I say, Uranus. I'm going to read it. So we've got Uranus and Eris on one side in Aries, and we've got Jupiter and Haumea in Libra on the other side, and then Pluto opposite. Together, these are phenomenal energies, very important. And so I think we're looking at a month when we have got a lot of activity as Ceres tries to make her mark on the masculine, as she tries to hold her own. Now, there is something that we could do here as women, and it is mainly females that follow my stuff. What we witnessed last year was an incredible rising up of women who stood their ground, who protested against something that they found intolerable. And I think what we need to do now is all of us in our own way, either in meditation in a peaceful way or by getting out there and joining in. I think what we need to do is be unified with the feminine. Start to give the feminine a voice, give it a stage. Start to express it through us in our individual ways, but also to join forces with others and protest so that we can bring in unity, so that we can bring in compassion. So when we're protesting, not protesting in an angry way, protesting in a feminine way, in the way of gentleness and peace, to put in that small voice to appeal for peace, compassion, empathy, bonding, unity. If we look at Harvey, one of the things that has come out of it, I hope, this is what I pray for, is unity, people helping people, compassion, sympathy. These things need to be raised on this earth and held up by us. If we look at what happened on the eclipse, for a moment during that eclipse, the moon got between the sun and the earth and closed off a large amount of masculine energy all at once in 2 minutes. And look at the expression or what was happening on the earth as that happened. People drew together in unity. It wasn't about being a Trump supporter or a Trump denier. It was about the person next to you and embracing and loving the shared moment that you had. So a natural sky event brought together temporarily a bonding and a unity that we haven't seen for a long time in some countries. So let's put in this small plea for the feminine, and let's, if we all can please, make September a month in which we truly try to reach for the feminine, the beautiful feminine talents that we all have innately inside, but we can all get so caught up with the masculine energy, the yang energy in this world. We forget to balance ourselves, we forget to balance our lives, our environment. This is so much needed for this month, it truly is. Okay, so I've talked to you about that. Now I want to give you some dates as well and talk to you about things that I think would be valuable on these particular dates. Let's just talk about the sun-moon cycle. So we've got the full moon on Wednesday the 6th of September, which is actually conjunct Neptune. And then on the 12th and the 13th of September, we've got the sun square the moon, and it actually takes in Saturn, so that needs to be looked at. And then on the 20th of September, we've got the new moon, which is the sun and moon together, opposite Chiron. So what I want to do is I want to just go back over those dates and just give you some things to watch for, give you some things to engage in. For this month, the sun is already in Virgo, and it will remain in Virgo up until the last week when it moves into Libra. So first of all, we need to be thankful for that. We're in Virgo, so we're in an energy which is a feminine energy. Virgo is contemplative. Virgo wants to adjust, What Virgo energy wants to do is sort through everything, get rid of the stuff that isn't working, keep what's left, and then give duty and homage and service to what is left. Virgo wants to work with things, but in a peaceful way, in a useful way, in a dutiful way. So this is why we have this fantastic opportunity this month to immerse ourselves in something which our world needs, desperately needs at the moment. Too much masculine. Uranus has been left too long, too wild, with too much to say, and in Aries, and it really is starting now to become unbalanced. Uranus has to be pushed back by the feminine. Okay, so just looking at the full moon on Wednesday the 6th, conjunct Neptune. Neptune, a feminine energy, a beautiful time to be engaged with the spiritual, to be compassionate, to be caring, to be empathic. These are all Neptune's wonderful gifts. It's a time for compassion on an unprecedented level, unconditional love. Neptune says, hear me calling and join with me in this great white light. So I think this is a time when we need to take guilt, blame, victimization, criticism, and we need to bring all these things into a compassionate framework where we redeem. We need to reach for redemption. So we need to do the things that we think will make up for, make better for, make things better, to redeem ourselves for the energies that have been part of, sometimes unwillingly, in the last few years. The 12th and 13th of September, so we have the sun and moon square each other, as I say, and the moon is opposite Saturn and the sun is square Saturn, give you the astrological jargon. This is maybe a time of when we suffer from a loss of confidence. It may be a time when we feel inferiority, when we feel underskilled. So this is a time to be very compassionate with ourselves, to treat ourselves very gently, very lovingly. That this would be a lovely thing to do at this time, to just take on this testing period and treat it with lovingness and open arms, and take things in, be interior rather than exterior. Okay, and then we have the new moon on the 20th of September opposite Chiron. Again, we need to reflect, we need to be composed, we need to be healing, we need to be forgiving, we need to take on healing, we need to do it on behalf of the cosmos. We're here in these individual worlds with our individual lives, with our self-will, but it doesn't mean to say we're not still connected. We are very much connected. We have an unconscious dialogue going on with the collective unconscious the whole time, and we are feeding it, and it feeds us. So we can raise consciousness. We can do it no matter how inferior you feel at these times. Know that you are connected. Know that the feminine needs you. Ceres needs you to join with her and help. And this is very much the message for September. I'm just going to check and see what else I've got here, because I think I've just about covered it there. There is one thing I want to discuss with you. Yes, we have a Uranus Haumea opposition going on, which is all tangled up with the Pluto Uranus stuff, and the imagery here is of the sky god Uranus. So I'm going back to Greek mythology here. The sky god Uranus coming down to Earth, Gaia, and laying over her. Haumea, Earth, Uranus, sky god, and she keeps producing babies, and he doesn't like these babies, and so he eats them all. He gets rid of them. Now she gets clever in the end, and she gives birth to one particular baby and goes, I'm going to hide this one. And she does hide this one, and he doesn't get to know about it. The one that she hides is Zeus, and Zeus rises up and overthrows Uranus, his father, and it opens the world up to a new world. The Greeks begin a new epoch. And I was thinking about this, and I was thinking that we need to have this new age, this new epoch. We need Uranus to be gone, and we need to bring in something new. And so I'm very much got the symbology in my mind when I think about hiding this precious thing that is being created this month, and with our minds and with all our consciousness, bringing in this new age of race consciousness, but bringing it in with the feminine, so that there is much more empathy, sympathy, compassion, and joined up unity. We need to reach for unity. I hope that was a lovely message for you, and I hope you have a great September, a mellow time when you gather the fruits and you bring them into the kitchen and you bottle and you pickle and you preserve, when you prepare for the change of seasons. We're going towards the equinox. We're preparing for this change of season. We need to do so with the feminine in mind and do all the feminine things of collecting and preserving, and also meditating and loving. Have a lovely September. It was great to talk to you. Thank you. Hopefully speak to you soon. Thank you. Oh, and don't forget, have a reading with me. I nearly forgot. Have a reading with me. I love to have readings with you. So please get in touch with me, and I would love to have a reading with you and see how we can apply all this to you and also what's coming up. That would be great. Thank you. Okay, bye.